Okay, welcome guys. I'm Rob Tetrault. It's my brother Charlie, another edition of the Running Journey. Charlie, you have, on this episode, we're going to talk about your race that's coming up. You've set some goals for yourself. I did a half marathon. I'm on vacation in the UK. I'm in, currently right now, I'm in, what is it called? The Peak District, which is between Leeds and Sheffield and Manchester. Really neat area, lots of mountains. And I did the Magna Carta half marathon. I've been jogging a ton out here. You've not been jogging a ton. You're full-blown taper, races in 2 days.
Yeah.
So have you set
tell
some goals?
Tell me about your half marathon, and you went through a bit of an injury after your 100K.
Yeah, okay.
Tell me how that went.
Yeah, it was I was worried about it. I was panicky. I texted you. I thought I was going, I thought something was really, really wrong with my foot. Chatted with my wife. She's like, go see your physiotherapist. If I'm worried about something, usually it's not good, because then it gets in your brain and you can't get it out, and it becomes like a virus that won't go away. So I actually texted my physio. I went to see him. I haven't told you this. It's not plantar. I haven't told you this. It's not plantar. What's it called again? Plantar fasciitis. It's what's the side muscle? It's the side muscle on the calf. The peroneus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where it connects all the way down below the foot, and there's tendons and ligaments that connect underneath the foot, and right in the middle of the foot, and it's a muscle. And not,
yeah, but that's all the same. It's kind of all the same thing, but yeah, it's not as bad, I guess.
Q was adamant it is not plantar. He's like, you can go run. Q, my physio.
Yeah.
He was pumped. He was excited. I'm glad I saw him. I only had a half an hour to see him because I had to catch my flight, but it was very, very, very worth it to see him, because gave me peace of mind. So the injury, I was freaking out for nothing. Not what you're dealing with, for sure. So it's pretty much gone by now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I figured it was probably just the 100K. So after I ran my 20 mile in the snow, I had some like muscle issues like that. So 100K would do that, I would imagine. And it's just probably extreme stiffness and extreme tightness. Like, that's the other thing though, when your calf muscles and your hamstring muscles get really tight, it can kind of cause, is what my physio told me when I had plantar fasciitis, that it can cause it if your hamstrings and your calves are really tight. So good that you don't have it. And you had a great half marathon. I know you said you were kind of slow, but I mean, it was a trail half marathon, right?
Yeah, it was a trail, but you know how you think, okay, this is one thing that I want to ask you about. Like, do you feel like your governor right now and your radar for how good you are at running a half marathon is just shot right now? Do you think you have any idea what you could run a half marathon tomorrow, max effort? Because I'll tell you what, for me, I feel like I had no idea what I could run. I had no clue.
Yeah. Well, no, I have an idea. I would say
be your idea?
I'd probably be able to run about a 130.
Okay.
Or 132 or something, somewhere around there. It wouldn't be fast. Like, I think when I was in peak shape right before Boston, it would have been about 125, but now it's probably 130, 132.
Okay. So I thought, okay, I've done a one, kind of below 125. I thought I'm 3-4 minutes slower is what I thought. I think I should be able to do a 128, 129. And maybe that's what I did because it was a trail. You're right. But my point is, I wanted to do a negative and I wasn't able to do it. I did a positive.
Well, you haven't really been training, right? So
no, I know, but it's still like
marathon training is different, right? Than just.
No, I get it. That's the whole point that I'm trying to have a conversation here. Is that it's like, I know that when
you're not in as good shape as you were before, is what I'm telling you.
No, I'm definitely not. Endurance wise, I am. I feel like I have an engine right now. Like,
sorry, for 100 miles, maybe, yeah.
But I definitely am not. But the good news, I think, is it'll be quick to get that speed back, I think, right?
Oh yeah, once you start training for Chicago, you'll get it back. Okay, I'm gonna say something I've said before, but once you start putting lots of miles in, you'll get fast.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said at the end, but I agree. Lots of miles is where I'll like the build will start as soon as I get back from this trip. So I'm on a trip right now. I did that Magna Carta half, by the way. So they had 6 turnaround points, because they wanted you to run in front of the spot where the king signed the resolution or whatever. So there's a big statue there of King John, I think it is. Yeah, King John. And so you pass in front of it like 6 times. And like 6 there and backs.
So my half marathon, Hecla, it's the new map this year. There's 6.5 loops. Each loop is 3 turnarounds.
Wow.
So there is a total of
19.
I think 19 because there's the half at the end. So 19 turnarounds on a 13.1. Wow. I think it's going to be a little bit longer than 13.1 miles, but we'll see.
So why do you think it's longer than 13.1?
I'm not 100% sure. It just kind of looks like it could be.
But that came from somewhere, that idea.
Yeah, so I measured it out on like Map My Run or whatever, but the only thing is on the map, like it's the map that they provide is just like it's almost like a sketch diagram, and you can't really tell how far they go.
Back of the
I have
napkin.
a feeling I feel like it's going to be a little extra, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm preparing myself to have extra mileage on this half. Because sometimes they do that for triathlons. They're not very accurate for their distances, I feel like sometimes.
Well, isn't that like the thing that we've noticed with triathlons? They're never accurate. The swims, the runs have been off. Like
the runs, like I think the run at St. Malo was long, and I think the run at Birds Hill was short.
Yeah, bit. And what was my bike in Hecla last year? 45K instead of 40. They just kind of threw on an extra 5K.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of less of a thing, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the trail runners. They say 50 miles, but they make you do 52 miles or 53 miles, just kind of like, you're doing extra miles.
Yeah.
I think you're right about if I go back to my Magna Carta, and then I do want to ask you about your goals for this thing. I know we've talked about goals, but I want to ask you how you've mapped it out. But this Magna Carta thing, I've said it before on this podcast. I love going out and doing runs. I wanted to podium. There was, I don't know, maybe, I have no idea. Was there maybe 100 runners or 60 runners? It was a small race, very, very small race. And I started at the front of the thing, gun went off. I was in 3rd place. There was a guy doing like, I don't know, 5.5 minute miles or something, way ahead of me. And then there was another guy that was just slightly faster than me, gaining about 10 seconds a mile. And there was no one else close. So I felt comfortably in 3rd, and all the turnaround points, every time I would time, and I knew how far I was ahead of everyone. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get a podium at least. I'm not going to get my time, but I'm going to get a podium. And then on mile like 11 or 12, this guy passed me. He passed me like you passed me on the bike in St. Malo, like just boom, like he just passed me. And I asked him after, because I was doing 7:10s at that point. He was doing 6:50s, 6:40s. So 20 seconds faster. Felt like he was blowing by me. He did a 3-minute negative. I did a 3-minute positive. So that's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So he beat me by, I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever. But that sucked, knowing that some guy was passing. When he passed me, I was like, who's this guy? Where's he coming from? And I checked his bib like 3 times. Yeah, he's a half runner. He's in my race, because there was a 5K and a 10K. I don't know why it mattered. It doesn't matter what I finished, 2nd, 5th, 9th, but I was so pissed off at this guy for beating me. Really, it was my fault because I wasn't having a good race. But anyways, I did the Magna Carta half marathon here in just outside of London. And then I've been doing jogs ever since. I love just jogging on trip. It's so fun. I've talked about it, I don't know how many thousand times. I want to ask you, so you're tapering. You're probably miserable because you're tapering, right?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
How many Ks did you do today?
I don't know, like 2.5 miles.
Yeah, 2.5 miles.
4K.
Tomorrow you're doing like 2K or something?
Tomorrow I'm just going to go swim a little bit.
Okay. And you probably did like half-hour bikes and stuff this week?
No, 1 hour bike. But bikes are easy. So
Yeah, they're half the
Yeah.
distance. Okay, so you're going to Hecla. You've looked that it's a long run. You know that it's 13.5, 13.5.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It's AI is reading my thumbs up. What if I do this? Thumbs down?
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't like you. Okay, so how are you going to figure out what your goals are going to be? I know we've talked about this before, but do you still have a stretch 440 goal? Is that kind of still stretch?
Well, I decided for Hecla I'd start writing these things down because I noticed that a lot of times I always have numbers in mind, and then I kind of usually don't hit them. I'm pretty close, but not quite exactly. So I kind of want to start tracking and trying to have realistic goals. So for this one, I wrote them all down in my nifty little spreadsheet, and my stretch goal. No, my I just have a goal, a target, which is 4:45, which was about 13 minutes faster than last year.
Okay, 4:45. So you're aiming to do like I think you said 38, 39 minutes on the swim, something like that.
Yeah, so 39 minutes on the swim, which would be about a minute slower than last year. I think last year that was probably the best swim I've ever had. So and I look back at my numbers and I was really good, swimming really well last year at this time of the year. So I'm assuming I probably can't go as fast, but I am feeling really good right now too with swimming, but maybe not quite as good as I was last year. So I just I backed that one off a little bit from my last year's swim. T1 2 minutes 15. So I added about 15 seconds from last year because I'm gonna put socks on this year, Aero socks.
You added 15 seconds.
Yeah, so I added 15 seconds to my T1. My bike.
Do you know, Charlie? Hold on. Do you know if the T and the transitions and the distances and all that will be the same as last year? Because like
I'm guessing they will be. It looks like
Okay.
it's the exact same, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
For T1, it looks like it's the exact same because it's in the same area, and yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's the same. Bike. So I've been tracking all my bike legs, all my bike training outside, and I put in parameters into a CDA calculator, which gives you an estimate for your coefficient of drag.
What's a CDA calculator again? That's a coefficient of drag?
Yeah, so there's two components to simplify. Well, there are actually multiple components, but let's say to simplify how fast you go on the bike, there's your power, there's how much drag, so how aero you are, how much drag, so that's the CDA, and then there's rolling resistance. So when I upgraded my tires a little bit earlier this year,
you have the cheater tires now.
No, just tires. Yeah, just
you don't have your
normal
cheater wheels yet.
Yeah, I don't have my. Well, I did get them, but I haven't installed them yet. So my resistance, my rolling resistance went down. So I've got certain assumptions on what my rolling resistance is and my CDA is. And I'm estimating that realistically, I could potentially, this is a bit of a stretch, but 38 kilometers an hour would be kind of my target there. And that would be with 255 watts. Average 255 watts at a CDA of 0.28 is kind of how I calculated that number.
What's your CDA? What was your CDA in St. Malo?
CDA in St. Malo was just under 0.28.
And what did you average speed in St. Malo?
I averaged 39 something.
Okay, and double the distance, you think?
But I feel like I'm in better shape. Like I feel like I actually kind of took it easy on the first half. I think I was way too conservative in my St. Malo one because I went way. I had like 15 watts more in the second half of that race. So I feel like had I just been pushing those extra 15 watts right from the start.
A negative power output.
Yeah. negative power output or I don't know how to explain that, but yeah. So I think 255 is a stretch, but it's reasonable. And I've been feeling really good with the 3.5 hour bike rides. And
Zero chance I could output 255 for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. I mean, I think that's probably a stretch. I think 240 might be a little bit more realistic, but yeah, I'm putting it down. I think I could maybe exceed the CDA too. So there's two ways I could get there: is just being more aero or more power. So we'll see. And then
the CDA basically just reduces the speed. It's a multiplier. It just reduces the speed based on the power.
Yeah, the lower your CDA, the faster you're going.
Right.
So it's just a way to kind of quantify how aero you are. I think that's kind of what I use it for. So I'll plug in every one of my rides and I'll say, okay, my CDA for this section, and I'll keep the same assumptions, was about this. So that gives me an idea if I'm improving or if I'm getting worse in terms of aero. Because I think that's the one thing, like people who train for Ironmans and don't train enough outside, the one thing they forget is like you can gain just as much speed by being aero than by having more power, right?
In your basement when you're training on that trainer, you could do whatever you want. You could sit up, you can watch TV, you can change a channel. You never have to. You're pedaling and the power's still going, but there's no one keeping you accountable to your aero.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a kind of a shitty part about training on the trainer. I feel now that you've talked about aero so much. Like I've done a few bike rides, 3 I think, and I'm always like, I wonder how aero I really am right now. Like when I'm on the trainer.
No, I think you're pretty decent. But I think what was I going to say about air? I think the faster you get, like the more power you get, you're diminished. It becomes a lot easier to gain speed by being more aero than adding power at a certain point, because the faster you go, the more the aero affects it, right? So
right.
If I increase by 10 watts, it's probably not as good as reducing my drag by 5%. I probably get better.
You're better to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And you'd be way less tired.
Yeah. So T2, I'm hoping. I had 115 last year, so I want that as my target, because I'll have the socks on already. It might be even slightly easier to put on the shoes. I got better shoes for sliding it in, and I got socks. And then the run 140, which I feel is doable. I thought it was conservative, but you thought it wasn't. So
okay, yeah.
Last year I did.
What was your goal for the marathon?
The half 140, 738 per mile. Because last year I did 143, but I feel like I'm in way better shape, way better running shape than I was last year at this time. So I feel like 3 minutes is.
I've never done a half Ironman. I don't know how it would feel. I've done the triathlon, and then I've done the
It's
Ironman.
similar to an Olympic. I feel like it's kind of similar to an Olympic, except you kind of got to go like 90% of that effort.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just did a 131 marathon, and that was a max effort. And what I told you just before we came on the air here is, I don't know, man. I don't think I would have been able to do a 140. I mean, you're biking way more than I am.
But that's a trail. That was a trail half marathon, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think my half marathon time right now would be about 130.
Okay, so you're saying 10 minutes slower. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, your marathon time on it. So I wonder what the difference would be. Obviously, it depends how hard you go on the bike. Clearly, we saw that with my 2 triathlons. But if you can do a 40-minute Olympic, and what would you do? Is it 10%? Is it 43, 44 on that distance? Is it 10% on all the distances that you're going to be slower? Is it 15%? Is there some sort of coefficient?
I think in triathlon. So when I just do the race converter for running, straight up running, and you convert a 10K to a half, usually they use like an exponential of like 7%. Basically, whatever the ratio is, they'll
You
slow
had
down by
7%.
like,
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is if you compare your 10K time fresh, ice fresh, warmed
I
up,
see.
to your 10K time at the end of an Olympic triathlon, and you were to compare your half marathon PB to the best you could do at the end of a half Ironman, and you compare your marathon to the best you can do, I wonder what that number would look like.
Yeah. So the challenge with that is like your fitness changes. Yeah. So let's say,
and your effort level.
Yeah. So let's say I did a 42.5 at Birds Hill, which I think I was in good, which I think was about reasonable for me. I think I could have probably done a 40 fresh. So I'd say that's about the ratio.
Yeah. Well, 43 and 40. So not quite
42 and a half and 40. 42 and a half and 40.
Yeah.
So it's a nice round number for you.
Yeah.
116.
40, 2.5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. 6%, 6 2/3%. Yeah. So I have no idea if this math makes any sense. I'm just having a discussion.
But the longer the race, I think the longer the discrepancy is. Like, so an Ironman will be way more because
I remember I took a slower bike, less effort bike in Lake Placid, and in Houston, and I crushed those two marathons by my standards. I did 340 somethings.
Yeah, but 340 compared to your marathon time on a regular day might be like a 3, right?
305, let's say, or 305. So it's 35 minutes on 180. Yeah, you're right. It's
like 20%. It's like 20% instead of 6%.
Yeah. Okay. So, but what I'm getting at, there might be some sort of linear, or like the longer you go, maybe it's not linear, but it's like a hockey stick curve.
I think it's like more like exponential because the time for the event becomes so much longer, right? So not only is the run longer, but the amount of time you spent before you got to the run is longer.
Imagine there was an ultra Ironman where you had to do like 10K swim, 300K.
That exists. Double Ironman exists.
No, I mean like quadruple Ironman, something like that. And what do you think it would take you to do your 100 miles? Like it would take you.
Well, I feel at that point it wouldn't be much different than your 100-mile because I mean it'd be your last 100 miles of a 200 mile
Yeah,
of a 200 mile.
Yeah, so it'd be a lot slower. Ironman's a better example. Maybe the double Ironman's a better example because now you're doing 100K, 80K, whatever, 84K, and that would be a slow 82K probably.
That'd be very, very slow for me.
What are those called? Double Ironman?
Double Ironman. Give me everything but the swim. Be fine.
I haven't seen these. I've never seen these double Ironman.
It's a thing. I don't know.
Every time I hear something's a thing, I kind of secretly store it away back here, and I think you have no interest in doing a double Ironman.
No, it's too long. It's too long.
I didn't even know it was a thing. Okay, so back to your marathon. You're thinking 140 for the half. You think that's only 10 minutes more than what your PB?
Yeah, I think maybe it's 3 minutes faster than last year. Maybe that's a stretch. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm not trying. I'm just. I think that's an aggressive target. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if I could have done 10 minutes slower, 9 minutes.
Yeah,
slower,
but listen to my plan though. So back to our pacing and our strategy discussion. So my plan is to start at 8 minutes per mile, which is actually a 145 pace. Because then I think because of all these unknowns, I think I'm way better to start slower. And then if I feel good, I can slowly pick up the pace and then see how it feels. And I have a feeling I'm going to break 140.
Okay, I hope you do. I'm not.
But it's going to be painful. It's going to be awful and painful. But yeah.
Yeah, I just know that doing a positive. I think this was one of the first positive races I've had. So a non-negative, where my second half of my marathon is slower than my first half. It was demoralizing. Forget about how I did. Forget about how I did.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I started too fast for my capacity. Or in my defense, I didn't know the course was going to be that traily. I had no idea what I was signing up for. Right.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 miles were not bad, and then you get into this bush. It was demoralizing doing a negative, realizing that you can't run at 6:45, 6:50 anymore. Like realizing that I can't do it. Now you're
That's
doing
what I
7
hate
minutes.
about. That's what I love about negatives is like you avoid that feeling of like helplessness. I feel like you become
Yeah, it's
helpless once you
helpless.
start.
It's
Once you
helpless.
start dying, if you've gone out too fast, once you start dying, you feel helpless. Like it is like you feel like you have no chance of coming back from that.
You see those minutes taken away for each mile, and you try to convince yourself, I have it for the next mile. Next mile will be back on pace, but it isn't. It never is. The next mile is going to be slower, and the one after is going to be slower, or you're going to try to hold it. But like once you see it fading away, that negative, it's not fun. It's because then you doubt yourself and you question why you went out so fast, and you see
And then
people
you walk.
passing you. Well, no, I didn't walk, but I mean,
Well, okay, so my 10K last 2 years ago at Manitoba Marathon. I was hoping for like a 41 or something, 42. I don't know. I was in decent shape at the time, but I wasn't in good enough shape, and it was that super hot day, and I ended up walking about half of it because I went out too
I don't
fast.
remember that story.
No, we've never talked about it.
So what was your time then?
Like 54 minutes or something. I don't remember. I'll have to check it out. It's one of the things that actually I'll find it right here.
You just bury some of these stories, bury them, and never mention them.
No, I do. You know what? It's probably one of the most valuable experiences I've had because I know how much easier it is to start slower, no matter what. Like always underestimate your abilities.
Dude, it's all we've been talking about. It's all we've been talking about for the last like 6 months on this podcast, and somehow I went out and I did a positive. Like I didn't do a negative split on my method.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just 3 minutes, right? For you,
yeah,
because you're more experienced.
I don't even know if it was 3 minutes. It might have been 2.5 minutes.
Okay, so Manitoba Marathon 10K.
It felt like a 10-minute. It felt like a 10-minute positive.
Okay.
That felt, especially when that guy passed me.
Yeah.
You're talking
and that's what I did at the SoCal one too, eh? I had a bit of a positive. Definitely had a huge positive. I went out way too fast. Okay,
yeah, I remember that day.
So 53:49 was my official time.
Wow, I don't remember.
But it was a hot day. I was 300. No, I was 36th. I finished 36th in my gender, so not terrible.
In total.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to start at 8 minutes and see how you feel, and just push and increase the pace if you got it.
Yeah. And I'm trying out these new, I'm going to call them my triathlon shoes. Endorphin.
Cheater laces?
Saucony Endorphin 3. They're really easy to slip on. They feel great. Cheater laces, cheater shoes. Yeah, they feel really good when I run with them. So I'm excited about wearing.
Imagine like 4 years ago, if you would have just listened to the clip of what you just said just now, you'd think you were like Twilight Zoning right now. Yeah. Cheater shoes, cheater laces. What was it? The other one?
I don't know.
Anyways, so you're Endorphin Pros. How many pairs of cheater shoes do you have now?
3 Vaporflies, 3 Alpha Flies, and 1 Endorphin. So 7.
Okay, so you have more than I do.
Yeah. But I don't. Yeah. But my oldest pair has like 600 miles on them, and I ran that. That's what I ran my 2.5 miles with today. 600-mile Vaporflies. Still feel amazing.
Yeah, Vaporflies, not Alpha Flies, eh?
Yeah.
Do you prefer for this distance, if you were to wear a pair, would you wear Alphas or Vapors for a half after a triathlon?
Vapors for sure.
Yeah, they say Vapors for the half and Alphas for the full, right? That's kind of what they say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that matters too much, but yeah, I think that's what a lot of people say. And it kind of makes sense. The vapors are lighter, so you kind of feel faster on them. But also for a triathlon, the vapors are a lot easier to get on. So if I were to, last year I ran this triathlon with my second pair of vapor flies. So, but I am really
You
pumped about these endorphin pros. I
you
like them
wear them all the time? You wear cheater shoes every race or every kind of long race, every long jog?
every race. Yeah, for sure.
No, every race I
And
know, but like and your weekend long jogs for sure.
if there is any speed in them, I will
Yeah.
wear them. Yeah.
Dude, I need to talk a bit about my Hokas. I've talked about them at length on this. We have a video on our channel. It's me chirping them. And I
Oh
wore
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I wore them for
You need to do another
mo
video. I
I
was
know I
wrong.
need to do it. I was wrong on my Hokas. So I had that injury under my foot after I did my 100K. So this week, all I brought with me, I brought two pairs of shoes with me. I brought my Nike Invincibles. They're a ton of cushion. Have you ever tried those?
No, no,
Yeah.
sound good.
Anyways, they're like Hoka Bondi 8 equivalents for Nikes. They're very thick cushioning and like they're mall walkers. There's Nike's equivalent to mall walkers, but I remember you telling me wear support shoes. Like you need support shoes, and that's what you need to wear right now. And that's what Joel told me, and that's what Q told me, my physio. So after I had my injury scare under my foot, and it's funny that quick tangent on my injury, I told you it was under my left foot, but every
Okay.
morning I'd wake up, I'd put both feet on the ground, and both feet were sore,
Oh
kind of in
wow.
similar spots, not quite exactly the same spot. So that's when I knew
It's
that,
just extreme tightness.
yeah,
I'm
I,
assuming.
I knew that it was going to pass because, like, you don't get, or do you get plantar fasciitis in both feet at the same time? That's got to be extremely rare, right?
No, it happens. So when I was coming down, so I went to see my physio after the frost whatever it's called, the snow run.
Yeah,
And
frozen Falcon.
I wanted to make sure I didn't have like a fracture on my foot because it was really painful at that time. So I got an X-ray, I checked it out, I talked to the expert at I don't know what it's called there, that national center
Yeah, yeah,
downtown
sport
there.
for life.
Yeah, Sport for Life. And I talked to her and I told her like, oh, like now now my other foot is starting to hurt at the bottom. And she diagnosed me with, she said, and I said, but the other one's kind of going away. And so at that time, she diagnosed me with, I had mild plantar fasciitis on my right foot, which was like the old one, but I also had mild plantar fasciitis on my left foot. So it is possible to get it at the same time. But because I took care of it right away, that didn't never got worse. I did a lot of stretching and whatever. Those never, and yeah, I've been good ever since, actually, since then.
So back to my Bondis, my Hokas, and my Invincibles. My Hokas, I chirped them so much in that video. I put them in the closet. I thought I'd never wear them again. I wore them for 550 kilometers across New Brunswick. I wore them for pretty much every recovery jog since then. And it's the pair I brought. It's the only pair I brought here. So I've been wearing them every day because my feet I wear them out because we're doing a lot of walking, right? We're going through
Yeah.
London. I'm doing 25, 30,000 steps a day. I wear them either for my jog or for walking every day. And I kind of switch between my Invincibles. And they are like, my injury went away pretty much. And Q and Joel both told me, I don't think this is an injury you want to stop doing yours. Like if it gets worse, you stop, listen to your
Yeah.
body, keep jogging, keep
But
doing
it's
what you're
probably
doing.
because you did 100K, like 100K will do
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty obvious now that I
Yeah.
take a step back and I think about it. You know how you get, I don't know, do you get like panicky sometimes with injuries? You're like, oh, is this getting worse? And you start putting stuff in your head and like,
I'm getting too cocky because I haven't had any injuries in so long. I know that's when they come. So I feel like I get little things all the time and I like don't even worry about them. So I feel
yeah.
like maybe
So
I need to
I
become
was
more.
really cocky. I was really cocky like my whole kind of first couple years doing this. And now lately I've become like what you were a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, where you were like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm feeling this, and because you had a few injuries. I haven't really had injuries. They've been
Yeah.
very minor setbacks where I take a
Yeah.
day or two off.
Yeah.
But like I've been, anyways. This morning I wore my Bondis and I'm like, oh, I'll go do this jog. I'll do this. So I looked at All Trails. I don't know. Have you ever used All Trails?
No.
So it's like a Strava for hiking.
Oh, okay.
So it's got all the trails in your area. If you want to go do like, I used it in Ireland last year when we went to Ireland. It was awesome because it had all the peaks and like you take your phone and it tells you exactly on these paths that you're not sure, is it there, is it there? And it shows you how to get to the summit or whatever. It has all these hikes that you can do. It rates them. People upload photos, people describe the hike. So you get like someone 2 days ago did this hike and wrote a description of what he went through. So and it has average time. So
Oh
that
yeah,
this
I
one that I
saw you.
did,
You got a KOM there.
what's a
You want to talk
KOM?
about that?
What's a KOM?
So on Strava, when you get the fastest segment, you become the king of that segment. They call it a king of the mountain, KOM.
Okay, I didn't know what that was.
So that mountain that you hiked up, you got a KOM out of that. Did you know that?
Okay. I didn't know that, but I know I was checking the times last night.
Yeah.
Average time to do the loop that I did was 5 hours and 29 minutes.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to jog it, the whole thing. And I'm going to see what I can do. And never mind, we had an appointment to go to the National Video Game Museum today, me and the kids, which was freaking awesome in Sheffield. Awesome. They had hundreds and hundreds of consoles, Ataris and Super Nintendos and Genesis. Anyways, so I couldn't be late for that.
Oh God.
But I was like, pretty sure I can do this in 3.5. I thought. I had no idea. I had no idea. Didn't base it on anything other than these people are probably going to be slow. So I was looking at different individuals. There was a guy who did it in 3.5 hours. Everyone else 4, 4.5, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the problem is with my Hokas. Okay, so I got the KOM. All right, I didn't know that, but I jogged the whole as much as I could. I was jogging, Charlie. I was jogging. But what happened is once I reached the peak, after on the other side of the mountain, there was so much water. There was so much water. I couldn't avoid the water, so I had booters the whole way. And at some point, I was trying to save my shoes because I love those Hokas so much. I was like, at first, I was like tiptoeing around and taking my time and trying, but eventually, I just committed to just jogging with booters. And you feel miserable at first when you get a booter, but once you're over that 5-10 second misery of having a booter, you just go. Anyways, I had my Hokas and I'm pumped that I had them today because it was a lot of ankle turning and whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for this segment, it was 0.44 miles. The Whowood Lane climb, 152 feet, grade 6.4%. So that's pretty uphill.
Okay.
And you did it in 5 minutes and 6 seconds.
How long is it?
0.44 miles. So it's not like the whole thing. It's just a short part of it.
Okay. So less than half a mile in how many minutes?
In 5 minutes, but you were the fastest person to do it ever in 5:06 because I guess it's significantly uphill.
Okay. I know there were
some stretches it's not super fast, but I think most people hike this thing, aren't jogging up it, right?
Yeah. So. I was hoping you'd tell me that I had the fastest loop.
No, it's just a 5-minute segment. There's other there might be other segments on this activity. Let's see.
I didn't know that about Strava. I'm new to Strava. You remember?
Yeah.
Dude, I had so much
there's only
fun
2 segments on here, so there's not the whole loop.
The whole thing should be a segment. Like, how is I was so pumped last night. I spent all night looking at the trails, looking at the times of other people that had done it, comparing what they've done on other trails. I was trying to figure out how I would do. Got up early, drove out there because it's a half-hour drive. Drove out there, found the spot, and never mind. I texted Michelle. I'm like, I should probably let her know where I am if something happens, right? This is, you read on CNN or whatever, people die and nobody knows where they are, right? They go hiking in the bush. So I texted her my loop. I said, here's where I am. But I was like, what could possibly happen? Nothing could.
You don't have GPS location sharing with your wife or AKA spying on your partner?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Anyways. So I was jogging and I'm going around, and when I was listening to podcasts. I was taking photos. I was taking videos. I had the Trail app open. Anyways, phone died. Phone died about, like I had about a mile and a half left. So I was panicky. I was like, how am I going to do? I really don't know where I'm going. I know it's somewhere over there, but there's a field and there's
down the hill somewhere.
I know, but there's so many options.
I know.
I had not seen one person yet. I hadn't seen one person on this entire hike, not one human being. The cool thing is this watch has
still worked.
Yeah, it still worked, and it has a map, it has a GPS, and I could see my starting point. And you go like this, and I go, okay, it's that way, generally. And I knew I had about a mile and a half left, so I winged it. I winged it with my watch for the last part, and I'm really glad I had this thing. Eventually, I saw a human, and I say, "Hey, where's the town of Home? Oh, it's that way. You can't miss it. Miss it." The old Claude Tetrault. You can't miss it. Three hydro poles, fourth bear. There'll be a rock on the left. Anyways, I so much enjoyed that hike.
Head east.
I don't know. What's that?
Head east, giving you cardinal directions.
Cardinal directions.
That's a Claude.
Do people hike in Manitoba? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think people hike. Well, I mean, there's not really mountains too much, but I think riding mountain.
Is that riding different mountain than trail running?
And probably like on the in the eastern section of Manitoba where it's like all the lakes and all that.
And that's not trail running. That's different. Hiking is different than trail running.
Yeah, but it's kind of similar, I think.
It's on a spectrum, right? You have running, road running, trail running, hiking.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think I like that sport. I don't know if it's a sport.
Oh, I like hiking. So much fun. So when we were in Slovenia, that was one of the funnest days. We all, as a family, went on a hike. My 4-year-old and my 8-year-old, and we went up a mountain. This is not fast, but we went up a mountain and then came down a mountain. It was actually super fun. Yeah,
I did that with my son last year in Ireland. No, last year was France. 2 years ago in Ireland, we went up. Like there was a mountain. We just went up and came back down. He didn't like it as much as I did. But
I think my 8-year-old just loved it because it was like exploring and like figuring out how to get through trails and things like that. Yeah, it was fun.
I think if I didn't freak them out last night about the pace, because I was asking the kids, hey, who wants to come on a hike with me?
Yeah.
And the duration. I said, it's going to be 4 hours. I think they would have probably come. I got to plan that better. I think I got to do it as a family activity because Obi could for sure do it. My youngest, she would probably love it.
Well, maybe you got to build them up shorter to start, like 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe not the hardest hike in the entire app on the first day. Yeah. So I did a review and I said, everyone was saying how muddy and wet it was. Everyone was saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, do these people know what they're talking about? In hindsight, they did it 3 days ago and it was very muddy. Like I should have listened to it. And so I wrote a review. I said, these guys are right. It's muddy. Like it's very, very, very muddy. You're going to get booted.
I got a hard stop in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'll wish you good luck on your race. You definitely should listen to the episode with Leanne. I think.
I do. Really like, I mean, yeah, I do. I'm excited for the Olympics.
Everyone should go listen to that episode. Tyler Mislachuk finished 4th 2 races ago. He finished 13th in Hamburg this weekend. He is getting ready, roaring to go.
When exactly is that triathlon?
We got to do a live stream for that.
Olympic triathlon. Let's see.
There's no qualifiers.
I think it's the 27th. Oh, July 30th. So it is 12 days from now.
12 days from now. What day is that? A Monday?
Yeah. No. I think it's it might be Tuesday, maybe.
Tuesday.
12 days. So it's 2 days less. It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I have a question for you. So do you have, besides Chicago, do you have any races planned? Because I've got one that I think would be fun if you want to come and do with me.
Okay, wait. I have a few. but I'm in for whatever race you're talking. I don't know what you're talking. Hold on.
Yeah.
You've heard about the most popular race in Winnipeg right now. Everyone's talking about it on social media.
The inside marathon in the middle
The
of summer.
office indoor marathon happening at 201 Portage, which I'm organizing. Almost sold out. Almost sold out.
Yeah.
There's a few spots left.
I'll volunteer. I'll be an eight. I'll hand
Okay.
water out for that one.
You're gonna. Which of the 180?
And I'll be the judge.
There's water every 120 meters. There's a bathroom every 120 meters. The most amount of aid stations you've ever seen in a race.
Yeah.
So that's
Is
a big.
Is it like a buvette? What do you call that in English?
A water fountain?
Yeah. Is it just a water fountain? Is that
No. We'll have cups on the table. It'll be a real aid station. And the washrooms though are just.
What you could do is like fill up water bottles and let people just and then reuse them, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I don't know.
Why you get paid the big bucks.
Because it's like a short, like it's because you're not going far, right? Like you
don't want people taking stuff and tossing it on the ground. So you're gonna volunteer that day? Maybe I'll put you in charge of aid stations, all of them.
Yeah.
I also need your advice on thoughts about lap counting, if you have any, because I know you're in part of the Lab 200. If you have thoughts,
automatic. So,
anyways, that can
honor system. I think honor system and.
Well, I mean, you'll be able to see, right? You'll be able to see on anyone's Strava, so it's not like. Anyways, that's coming up in 9 days. That race, by the way, the Office Indoor Half Marathon. It's CBC. CBC called me. They're bringing a crew.
Victor?
No, Corey English. Corey Funk.
Oh wow!
I think he's on Strava. I don't know. He reached out to me. They're bringing a crew, so I know you got a hard stop, but okay, that.
Yeah, no, we got time.
Okay, so I have that, and then your race that you want to talk about. What's that? Oh, we're doing our timing challenge, by the way, in September 17th. The Tetrault Brothers timing challenge. Sorry, September 17th.
Okay, we also have to confirm if we're running the Treehorn Marathon with our cousins here. I know Paul said he's already registered, so. But
that's just like we're gonna try to break 4 hours, right?
Yeah, 4:15 or whatever it'll be.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that with him. What day is that?
September 22nd. I put it in my training peaks. It's not really ideal for my Ironman training, but whatever.
Okay, so that's on the
calendar.
So
that's not what I wanted to. There's this fun race. It's a point-to-point race in Manitoba, and the distance is what I think you'll love about it.
200 kilometers.
It is a 10-mile road race from
where?
Winnipeg Beach to Gimli, and it's during
Islangen's Doggin thing.
Yeah. 10-mile. And
what day is that?
It's, I believe, a Sunday, August 4th.
It's in August 4th. Is that August long?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at Uncle Mo's. That's not too far from Gitmo.
That's the weekend we're at Mo's. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I mean, it's a fun race. I won't be at Mo's because we got other things, but
I mean, what's that drive? An hour? Who cares? I've driven more for less.
I don't know how. It's probably about an hour. Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to that race?
I've already signed up. Yeah, I'm
okay. I think I'll sign up for that. Honestly, I kind of want to do every race. They're so fun. Races are so fun.
Yeah.
I'm like you 2 years ago.
But 10 miles, you've never done it. You've never done a 10 miler, right?
No, I've never.
That's a kind of interesting one. I kind of like it because it's.
I've never done it. 10K.
Yeah, that one too. 10K.
I have one 5K ever in my life. 0 10Ks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that. We got a lot of races. And the thing with races is I remember I was kind of chirping you, oh, you're signing up for every race. And now I'm like, I get it. I get why I'm actually looking for a marathon in Scotland. We leave tomorrow morning for Scotland. I'm looking for a marathon in Scotland, hoping to find one. There's a few that I might have to convince Michelle, hey, I'm just going to go for a run, be back in 6 hours.
6 hours, yeah. It's a 50K.
50K. No, I'm not doing that one. All right. Well, thank you. I know you got to run, Charlie. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Good luck on Saturday. I know you don't need it. I know you got a rock solid plan. You've been training more than I've ever seen anyone train for this distance. You got this. Good luck. And say hi to whoever you see from the triathlon community for me. And we will see you all in the next video.